Well, let me tell you something. You were able to bear them because they weren't your tragedies. If the next story you open is yours, will you be able to bear it? Hello and welcome. I'm Ash Mannix, and this is The House in Fata Morgana. And once again, I'm delving into this mysterious mansion to see what stories will unfold. What stories the maid will unfold to us, and basically not tell us who we are. In the last, I think we came to an end in the last story where our main man Jacopo was attacked by the maid, his old friend. Is it Maria? Can't remember her name. By the way, she had betrayed both him and the girl with the white hair, and pitched them against each other because she was pissed off at Jacopo. But that ended with Jacopo killing her and the girl with the white hair going missing, possibly dead, and him living the rest of his life miserable because he could not be open to his wife about how much he loved her. A lovely ending, as expected from a story from the House in Fata Morgana. All the stories seem to end pretty badly, especially for the girl with the white hair, who we've still not got a name for, who I suspect might be us, might not be us. I'm not sure, but the maid is not giving us any clues besides the stories themselves. But anyway, let us delve back into the last save I did. I'm going to switch to the no avatar screen. What is this? These are the questions I can ask. So we were at the end of the last story. We came back to the mansion and we were accosted by this painting that has nothing in it. It's just a blank painting, or a painting of just blackness, with the maid having gone missing. So interesting stuff. Well, mysterious. I don't know why the maids decide to go missing, go walkies all of a sudden, but here we are, and I think we've got some options to ask of our new guest. Who are you? Me? Well, as you can see, I'm a painting. Now, I can't remember what voice I gave this painting before. Why did I end up as a painting? Hard to say. Maybe I was reborn as a painting because I used to really like art. Though, there are things I painted that I wish I hadn't. Maybe that regret's what turned me into this. Hopefully I get the chance to apologise to him about that. Ooh. Anywho, no point in getting into any more detail than that. Wouldn't mean anything to you, so enough about me. Alright, you don't know anything about yourself. A shame that. Alright then. A favour for you, since you can't tell me about yourself. If you run into him, could you tell him I really regret what I did? I know I should tell him myself, but, well, as you can see, I'm stuck here, can't move an inch, so I've got to ask for help. Feel absolutely terrible about painting that picture. I know, yeah, the deadline's way past on that one, but that's what makes it regret, yeah? Because you can't take it back. By the time I had realised, it was too late. He was already dead. He's long since passed away. Huh? How are you supposed to give a dead fellow a message? Well, for all you know, the dead could be wandering these halls too. So please, if you come across him, tell him I said that. That I didn't mean any harm with that painting. Or maybe you are him. Wait, are we a he? This confirms that we're a guy? Okay. So, this man in the painting, or man who is a painting, painted someone and regretted it. Who am I? Just cause you don't know who you are doesn't mean you can go around asking other people. I'm not a person, you say? Well, no, you're right, but not going to know anything about you that you can't tell me yourself. I mean, from where I'm standing, you look almost like a walking cloud of shadow. Oh, I can't even tell what you look like. The maid who was with you before, did she call you master? I see. But the question is, which era's master are you? How many doors have you been through? 3 doors, eh? And of those, did any of them bring anything back? Ah, well, it's not an easy thing, recovering yourself. Or maybe you weren't behind any of those 3 doors. Yeah, that's got to be it. That was your first time witnessing those tragedies. Yours is another door. So tell me, how do you feel looking behind those doors? Was it frightening, saddening, heart-wrenching? Well, let me tell you something. You were able to bear them because they weren't your tragedies. If the next door you open is yours, will you be able to bear it? Will you be able to accept your own tragedy? It's one thing seeing others suffering, but your own? If you have to face emotions you wanted to keep buried, secrets you wanted to keep hidden away, and pain you wanted to forget, do you think you'll be able to accept them as your own? If you can't, I wouldn't blame you. I wouldn't accuse you of running if you chose not to reclaim your old self. Nothing wrong with erasing your memory of something if it had it so bad, or if it was so bad you didn't want to face it in the first place. Let it be rewritten as someone else's story. That'll make it a whole lot easier on you. Because you never know, the most unfortunate tale of all may well be your own. Or perhaps that goes for everything about you. You won't know till you see it. Well, that's true enough. But once you do, there might not be any turning back. Or do you mean to reclaim your old self no matter the cost? If you do, if you're sincerely prepared to do that, then be wary of the tale that comes next. Any tragedy that seems too beautiful to be real is precisely that, a fabrication. If it turns out you're someone from behind the next door, then perhaps you're my... What is this place? Oof, talk about some hard-hitting questions. I'm probably not the one who'll be able to answer that for you. I don't have a very deep connection with this mansion, you see. I swear it, I got nothing to gain from lying, do I? It's my regrets that have turned me into this. I wasn't summoned here by no one. That said, there is one thing I can tell you. This place summons people. People who have ties to something that happened long, long ago. No one knows anything even happened. I didn't know either, till she told me. Though I haven't the foggiest how much of it's true or not. Are you here? Because you were summoned by her? Or did you come here of your own will, to find someone? If you came here of your own volition, and you weren't summoned by her, then maybe you'll be the one who can break. Ooh. This painting is actually giving quite a lot of information. Might as well ask her that directly. What she won't say till you've regained your old self? I see. Well, in that case, if you want to know what you gotta do. It's entirely up to you whether you make an ally or an enemy out of her. There's no guaranteeing she's even right in the head. You never know. Maybe you're not the only one who hasn't found themselves. Interesting. Haven't taught that much in a long time. Feels great. And now that I've got that out of my system, I should be able to get some good sleep. You're probably still wandering in the dark right now, but I really hope you find the outcome you want. And I mean that. You can either reclaim your old self, or you can toss it aside. The choice is yours, either way. Now, since it looks like your escort isn't showing up, what do you plan to do next? How about taking a look around the place, since you've got a little free time? Could be you come across some things you wouldn't with her around. Oh, right. If you're going to go exploring, I've got the perfect thing. Stick your hand into the canvas, would you? Oh, that sounds dodge. The painting was still wrapped in an impenetrable darkness. A perfect, all-consuming void. The man had told you to put your hand into it. You. Oh. What do I do? First of all, I save. Because I don't know what the hell is going to happen here. I'm going to put my hand in. Guy sounds dodge, but whatever. Let's do this. You extended your hand for the painting. The moment your fingertips brushed against the darkness, it swallowed your entire hand up to the wrist. Ah, no, not there. Ooh, that tickles a little to the right. As the man in the painting had instructed, you groped around the inside of the darkness. Before long, you felt something hard at your fingertips. Clenching the object, you withdrew your hand. Your arm was still intact. You spread your fingers and there you found a key. Oh. Ah, that tickled. With that key, you can access the master bedroom. A while back, she tossed it into me. The damn litterbug. So yeah, it ain't mine. Don't worry about giving it back, however. I bet there's something worth seeing in there, if she felt the need to toss that key. Alright, well, I'm going to get some sleep. You take care. If you happen to learn my name, come pay me another visit. Should the fancy strike you. Oh, look at that. Having said that, the painting fell quiet. In your hand lay a small key. It seemed rather antiquated and vaguely familiar. Silence once again drew over the corridor. You stood there all alone, no sign of the maid. After considering it for a few moments, you decided to explore the mansion on your own. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I want to go to the master bedroom, but let's go to the entrance. You made your way to the mansion's entrance. There was no one around, nor any source of light. Groping through the darkness, you found the front door, which was sealed shut with a heavy bar. Ooh, dodge. Try to keep me in. Ooh. You pressed against the bar, but it remained firmly in place. The door did not budge either. It seemed you could not leave the mansion. Burn the witch. Crucify the impure. When you made a step away from the entrance, you heard a muffled voice. You looked around, but were unable to determine the source of the voice, nor could you be sure with whom you had heard either. Giving up on finding anything at the entrance, you decided to head somewhere else. Let's see, where else can I go to? So, fireplace. Let's go to the rose garden. Looks like your head is covered in roses. Oh, you got petals on the book. This isn't mine, I can't afford to. Wait, what? Though you could hear the sound of children laughing, you could not see them. Regardless, their cheerful voices warmed your heart. You decided to linger there in the garden for some time. Along with the children's laughs wafted a sweet fragrance. The wind blew, whisking flower petals up into the air. It was an enchanting sight. But after a while, the roses began to wilt. You could no longer hear the children's voices either. Oh. A young man stood alone in the withered rose garden. As you drew nearer, you called out to the youth, but the young man did not appear to notice you. He merely stood there, staring vacantly across the garden. The youth muttered something in a lifeless voice. This isn't what I wanted. I just wanted a normal, peaceful life. I can't bear being alone. I can't take this. Someone, get me out of here. Oh God, tell me that I'm not the bad one here. Is this, oh, what was the boy called? What were the... Oh, it was the sister and the brother from the first story. You tried to call out to the young man several times, but he did not seem to hear you. He simply continued muttering to himself. Before long, the youth's shadow faded into nothing. Unable to bear the chilly air any longer, you stepped back into the mansion. Ooh. Let's go to the cellar, because I think that was where the second story was based. When you descended into the cellar, you heard beast-like snarling. Along with it came a sour odour and the sound of ripping flesh. You could not see the beast, but that did not make it any less unpleasant. You made to retreat from the cell. Oh my god. That was, but before you could, a shadowy creature lunged at you. You reflexively squeezed your eyes shut. Oh, well, that was a nice little jump scare. After several moments, you opened your eyes again to find a silhouette of a man standing in place of the beast. You and the shadow stared at one another for some time. You asked the shadow a question, and the shadow responded. Charming. However, you had no idea what it said. The shadow seemed to be trying to communicate something to you, but trying to make sense of something you could not understand was pointless. Having no reason to remain in the cellar any longer, you made your way back upstairs. I wonder if we could have used something to decipher that. Why are these separated out? Let's go to the fireplace. You made your way to the room with the fireplace. What remained of the fire crackled weakly, leaving the room in a veil of darkness. You remembered that you had awoken here. Out of sheer curiosity, you sat down in the rocking chair you had been asleep in. Creak, creak, creak. It was as soothing as a cradle to a baby, and in short order you found your consciousness drifting from your grasp. Oh no, I didn't want to go to sleep. Oh no, the maid is back. Oh, I wanted to go to the master bedroom. Reading a story by the fireplace like this almost makes it feel like we're in another world, doesn't it, master? I bet that's why troubadours perform at pubs, so they can be near the fire. Oh, you're such a cynic. But that's okay. Say, do you remember when I first arrived here? When I was cleaning the library? What? I don't remember this. Your eyes slowly slid open. Fragments of a pleasant dream lingered in the back of your mind. The crackling of a fire, the taste of warm wine. However, there was nothing pleasant about the fireplace sitting before you. No warm, crackling flames. In fact, the brisk air of the room overpowered the remnants of embers left there. A chill ran down your spine. Afraid you might freeze stiff if you stayed there much longer, you resumed your exploration of the mansion. Wait, was that the maid talking to you? Let's try the den. Ah, this is where we had the third story with Jacopo. The scent of cigarette smoke lingered in the den. However, the room was silent, not even an echo of the men's chattering remained. Something was moving. Billiard balls. There was no one present to strike the balls. They rolled spontaneously around the table. The paths they traced across the surface were rough and erratic, contrasting that of when the former master had held the cue. The spheres collided awkwardly with one another, not a single one coming close to the pockets. As an experiment, you pulled a ball off the table. In response, the paths of the balls became even clumsier. Having lost one of their targets, they began bouncing aimlessly off the cushioned walls of the table. As you stared intently at the table, a man's voice rang out from somewhere in the room. Spinning around, you saw a silhouette of a man. However, you could not make out what the man was saying. The man thrust his finger at the table. He appeared to want you to return the ball. You reluctantly placed the billiards ball back on the table. When you did, the balls resumed endlessly colliding with one another, never landing in any of the pockets. That must have been Jacopo, maybe how he would spend his time after losing his wife and his dear friend who betrayed him. You looked up to find the shadow gone. Having determined that the maid was not going to appear in the den, you exited the room, making your way back into the corridor. Let's go to the library. I'm definitely going to go to the master bedroom last. I feel like there's something special there. The smell of dusty books filled the air of the library. You approached a shelf to examine one of the books, and suddenly an avalanche of them came falling to the floor. You stared blankly at the mountain of books. They had fallen down on their own, but they showed no signs of putting themselves away. Since no one else was there to do it, you began placing the books back on the shelf. 1, 2, 3, a dozen. And as soon as you had gotten them all back up, they came crashing back down again. You wished very much to implore of the maid's assistance, but she did not appear to be in the area. Pretending you had not seen anything, you made your way back into the hallway. Love it. It's whistling as he goes. Nothing, did nothing here. This, I think, did this feature in the second story with the beast? You approached the stained glass window. An array of pews was arranged facing the stained glass. There seemed to be an air of tranquility about the room. You sat down in one of the pews and stared quietly forward for some time. For a moment, you felt like you were on the verge of recalling something, but ultimately, the memory never managed to surface. The maid did not appear to be there. Where could she have gone? You decided to resume exploring the mansion. Yes, let's go to the master bedroom. You inserted the key you had been given into the door's keyhole, and with a twist, the door opened. The master bedroom was shrouded in darkness, much like every other room in the mansion. It had evidently been left unused for some time. The air in the room was stale and forlorn. Master? A voice seemed to ring out from somewhere. Come on, get up. Up with you. Master? See, what did I tell you? It's so much nicer in here with a little light. Without warning, your whole world took on bright, vivid colours. Light streamed through the window, illuminating a well-lived bedroom. A woman's silhouette stood before you. Wait a sec. Don't you hide under your bedspread. Get out of there. Oh, but Master, you agreed that I could open the windows. Don't worry, I've put curtains up. If it gets too bright, you can draw them. Mornings take the best parts of being outside and squeeze them all into the same few hours. You don't have to go outside in the sunlight for it either. Just listen to all the wonderful sounds. The joyous songs of the birds, the swaying of the trees, the rustling of leaves. You tried to call out to the silhouette, but it did not respond. Reaching out for her, your hands simply passed through her body. It did not seem to be you that she was speaking to. Perhaps you were looking at a scene from some other period of time. Am I being as pushy as I feel right now? I completely misjudged you. You're the exact opposite of what I thought you were. Let's see. I thought you were cold and cruel, heartless and incomprehensible. But I'm beginning to get a better idea. You try to put on airs, but you're really rather childish. You have a short temper, but can be surprisingly playful. What else? You have a pretty difficult personality too. Now, hear me out here. That's not everything. You gave me a chance to talk and you listened intently. You can be kind of nice too. We agreed that we would live together, not just in the same house. We've got plenty of time to add more to the list. Wait, what? We've agreed to live together? Huh? But she's the maid. She sounds like a maid anyway. She's calling you master. Calling this person master. And I hope you can make your own list about me too. This is just the beginning after all. We've got a long time ahead of us. Plenty enough to get to know each other, no? Let's not waste any time then. What do you say we do something today that we haven't been able to do before? Where should we begin? Oh, I know. We can get this place cleaned up. Now that there's some actual light in here, we can see all sorts of things we'd probably rather not. Like dust. all over the place. Oh, back to the darkness. When the woman's shadow faded away, the master bedroom transformed back into its old, dreary state. Master, can you say my name? You are unsure how to describe the urge welling up within your breast. You could not say her name. Oh. You stood unmoving in the master bedroom for some time, but it did not appear anything else was going to happen, so you decided to head somewhere else. Wait, didn't we already see the stained glass window? You returned to the room with the stained glass window. You had searched throughout the mansion, but had no luck finding the maid. You felt somewhat tired, though you were not quite sure whether it was physical exhaustion or otherwise. You had little interest in doing any more moving about. Taking a seat in one of the pews, you gazed up at the stained glass. Staring solemnly down back at you was the archangel said to weigh the souls of the deceased. Perhaps he was trying to weigh your soul. Oh, now we have to call for the maid. Let's do this. Master, Master! Oh, there you are, Master. You gave me quite the scare. After returning from the third door, you disappeared without a word. Oh my. It was I who disappeared? That is quite strange. I did not go anywhere as far as I am aware. Nevertheless, I'm glad to have found you. I would have been at a complete loss for what to do if I had been separated from you yet again. I did indeed say that when you first arrived. I've been waiting for your return for a very long time. For centuries, as a matter of fact. That would make me a ghost then, you say? I am very much not a ghost. Would I be able to hold your hand if I were? Saying this, the maid took your hand. It was cold enough to send a shudder down your spine, and completely devoid of life. Though, as chilling as it may have been, you still took comfort in the feeling of her hand in yours. The maid looked down at you with gentle eyes. After a few moments of silence, she sat down beside you. The stained glass is quite beautiful, is it not? Every time I see it, it brings a tranquility to my heart. A dreadful, deep-rooted curse afflicts this mansion. However, this room is the one exception. Can you feel the purity that hangs in the air, Master? Yes? What is it, Master? You are correct. The stained glass window has been shattered and was not present in the time period of the previous tale. I wonder, perhaps it is because the mansion we are in presently resides in a realm separate from the real world. We are in a world constructed from myriad memories and histories. I am sure that when you regain your old self, Master, the mansion too shall be restored to its original state. Ooh, what is going on here? So do try and remember, alright? Oh yes, where did you go in my absence, Master? I see. So you explored the mansion then? And did you find anything noteworthy? Memories? I'm not quite sure what you mean. How peculiar. As a servant of this house, I pride myself on being aware of most everything present within these walls. I wonder whose memories they could be. The key to the master bedroom? Why did I throw away the key? I beg your pardon? You say a painting told you? You could see perplexity on the maid's face. You had never seen her make such an expression before. I know nothing of any key. Oh, that sounds like a freaking lie. Oh, Master, you should not tell jokes meant to cause others discomfort. But a talking painting, you say? You seem to have a rather vivid imagination. Maybe you can tell the next tale, Master. I'm only teasing. Now, that was a nice break, but we should get moving. The tale I'm about to show you is the last of the mansion's memories. I am certain you'll remember yourself after seeing it. To our feet. The final door is not far. And please, do not let go of my hand. Holding your hand, the maid led you to the far end of the room. Crossing beneath the stained glass window, a metal door came into view. Our destination lies at the top of these stairs. There we will find one last door. She pushed open the metal door, revealing a long, long spiral staircase. Stone, is that wood? Lovely. It will be a bit of a walk, so let us be on our way. And please do watch your step. This is called an observation tower. Normally, towers such as this were built in castles or churches, so it is rather strange for there to be one in a mansion. The last door I wish to show you, Master, resides at the top of this tower. Rectangular windows were carved out of the stone in several locations along the way up the spiral staircase. You attempted to peer out of one of the windows, but all you could see was a thick layer of fog. Perhaps the maid's suggestion that the mansion did not presently reside in reality was, in fact, correct. With each step upward, you found yourself gripped by an indescribable sense of anxiety. The feeling somewhat resembled irritation or annoyance. Sensing this, the maid tightly gripped your hand. There is nothing to worry about. You will be fine. It is all in the past. Oh? No matter what may happen, so long as you do not let go of my hand, you have nothing to fear. You and the maid continued climbing the stairs, up and up, around and around, marching ever nearer the supposed final door. This is intriguing. High up into the tower, as the light from below drew distant, a rotten wood door came into view. That's rotten. Patches of what appeared to be blood stained the surface, and holes had been bored into it with sharp objects of some sort. This doesn't... Wait, one sec. Okay, wait, where's the holes? Are these all holes? All of these things? You heard a scream from far below, where no one should have been. Kill the witch! Kill the witch! Kill the witch! Burn her! Burn her! Burn her! You were struck with fear. The next moment, the maid opened the door. And then... you slowly descended into darkness. The fourth door. Oh, this is ages ago. 1099. Set on a pot, set it on, and also pour water into it. Gather the pieces thereof into it, even every good piece, the thigh and the shoulder. Fill it with the choice bones. Take the choice of the flock, and burn also the bones under it, and make it boil well, and let them seethe the bones of it therein. Thus saith the Lord, Woe to the bloody city, to the pot whose scum is therein, and whose scum is not gone out of it. Bring it out piece by piece. Let no lot fall upon it. Is this the... Oh, the white-haired girl. Where is she? Where'd she go? She came down the other way. I'm sure of it. Find her. Find her. And burn her. Burn the witch. 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 Burn her. 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 You know, these people are kind of obsessed. This is not looking good. Then will I leave thee upon the land, I will cast thee forth upon the open field, and will cause all the fowls of the heaven to remain upon thee, and I will fill the beasts of the whole earth with thee, and I will lay thy flesh upon the mountains, and fill the valleys with thy height. I will also water with thy blood the land wherein thou swimmest, even to the mountains, and the rivers shall be full of thee. And when I shall put thee out, I will cover the heaven, and make the stars thereof dark. I will cover the sun with a cloud, and the moon shall not give her light. All the bright lights of heaven will I make dark over thee, and set darkness upon thy land. Wow. Seem to have lost them. Now, where am I? Where should I go from here? What am I to do? Darkness spreads as far as the eye can see. Not a ray of light shines down upon... Oh. Wait, who's talking here? All that strokes my cheek are tendrils of darkness. Every passing day, every fading hour, my world is engulfed in ebony. There exists no kindness in the shadow, only solitude. I've lost track of how... Oh, it must be the white-haired girl. I've lost track of how long I've been out on the run, wandering aimlessly, lost, until I arrived at this dark forest. I no longer have anywhere to go. O Father who art in heaven, I kneel to thee within my heart and ask of thee thy blessing. O Father who art in heaven, I ask of thee to shine thy light upon me and show me the way. Please have mercy upon my soul. Father who art in heaven, I do love thee dearly, hallowed be thy name. Please show me the way. I may be shunned and persecuted, and I may have no place to go, but nevertheless I am unable to give up on life, to cast aside my hope. O Father who art in heaven, please guide me unto salvation. O Father who art in heaven, please guide me. I can no longer remember when my life became naught but running, when it became endless wandering in the dark. And now, when I've reached the point where I've long since forgotten my hunger and thirst, my voice has become hoarse, my vision gone blurry, and my consciousness begun sinking into a hazy morass. That mansion appears before me, wrapped in a morning fog that seems to foretell rain. Oh my. The mansion comes into view like the world fading in after a dream. It doesn't appear as though anyone lives here. All the windows are either boarded up or shuttered, as if it's long since been abandoned. A tower, which seems out of place in a personal residence, stands tall beside the mansion. The whole building seems as though it could have disappeared with the fog. It has an unwelcoming presence, freezing me in my tracks. However, if this is where you have led me, then I shall follow your guidance. Having nowhere else to go, this mansion is my only salvation, the light that guides my way. And so, I must have faith that no matter what I find, whether spirits or wild beasts dwell within these walls, this is where I will find peace. Is anyone there? I guess it is abandoned. That makes sense. It would be more unusual for someone to be living in a house so deep in the woods, so far from civilization, like it's been forgotten to time. Can't imagine anyone spending their days here. I place my hand on the front door. What if I can't get in? I very much doubt I'll find anywhere else to stay wandering around through the woods. If the door doesn't open, then I'll die out here in the forest. I've come to accept much, but I'm not ready to forfeit my life yet. Please open. The door is heavy, and although it seems to protest my attempts to enter, it still opens much easier than I was expecting. I was worried over nothing. Looking in, I get the strangest impression light is being swallowed up into the mansion's depth. Rather than going inside, it feels as though I'm about to step outside the boundaries of this world. When I close the door, it's so dark I can't even tell where I'm walking. I wonder if the window's open. Though I manage to fumble my way over to a window, it's tightly shuttered and the shutters are caked with rust. I'm probably not going it open without a fight. If only I had some source of light. I can't even see my hand waving in front of my face. It feels like the floor will fall out from under me, and I'll sink into eternal darkness if I don't watch my step. Fighting back that fear, I slowly walk forward, tracing the wall with my hand. There's a door at the end of a long corridor. I pull it open, and a wisp of bone-chilling air brushes past me. It's too dark to see anything, but I can feel something different present in this area than the rest of the house. Uneasiness grips me. Is anybody here? My voice simply disappears into the void. No response. As I'm pushing forward through the freezing air, for a split second, I spot a shimmer of light. Squinting my eyes, I'm not able to make out a large window. Unlike the others, it's not shuttered, but covered by drapes. My chances are slim, I imagine, but if there's even a slight possibility of getting some light in here, it's worth a shot. So I pull open the drapes. The next moment, faint but colourful light shines down on me. It's a stained glass window. From beyond the glass, I can hear the subtle pitter-patter of rain. I guess it finally started. The different colours of light blend into a milky white, dim but wondrous. It's gorgeous. Why would someone cover this up? It's beautiful. With a little more light it'd be. Please do not touch the drapes. Ooh, who's that? Or the windows. Suddenly I hear a voice, and I can sense someone else in the room. The man's voice is emotionless, neither deep nor high. Before long he comes into view, illuminated by dull orange candlelight. Who is this fetching fellow? Michel? I'm sorry for coming in uninvited, but, I did announce myself. The man stands there, practically blending in with the darkness. Has he been there the whole time? He's staring straight at me. His gaze wavers slightly, but not enough for me to read anything in it. The candle in his hand and the light from the stained glass window are the only illumination in the room, neither of which are particularly bright. As a result, his outline is faint and blurred. It gives off the impression that he might vanish entirely between blinks. My apologies. I assumed the house was abandoned. I suspect you would have preferred it to be abandoned. Not at all. Do you live in this mansion? Yes, I have for a very long time. I thought I had barred the front door, but it would seem I left it open. What brings you here? If you're lost, I am happy to give you directions. There is a village west of here. It should take you maybe half a day on foot. If you are in need of money, help yourself to some of the furniture. Trade it for food at the village, then make your way to a larger town. Please allow me to stay here. Could you repeat that? I cannot go to the village. No, I cannot go anywhere. I am no longer able to freely return to any town. I'm being hunted. You seem rather young to be a sinner. So you have transgressed. I am neither a thief nor an adulterer. If I bear any sin, then it's been with me since birth. I will do everything I can to stay out of your way. I simply ask that you grant me shelter until all blows over. If you wish to know of my transgression, I will tell you. So please, do not throw me out. I see. And do you ask this of me aware of how people refer to this mansion? Pardon? It is said that a witch once lived in this house. And not just any witch. A cursed witch. This house has been tainted by her seething hatred, and all who dwell within it meet their demise. But, but you live here, don't you? Like her, I too am cursed. Huh? What kind of curse? The one thing I can tell you is that your life is in danger if you get involved with me. Should you approach my curse, I am likely to take your life. You kill me? Yes, you do not belong here. To live with me in this mansion is to sentence yourself to death. No matter what path I choose, I very much doubt I have a future. And if that's the case, then I shall live how I want. I don't care what people say about you or this mansion. I wish to stay here. You might think I'm rather strange, but my heart tells me that I must stay here, that I was guided here, and hearing what you have to say only reinforces that. What are you scheming? I'm not scheming anything. I'm simply tired of running. So if your curse is going to kill me, then perhaps that's for the best. At the very least, you won't be hunting me. You won't try to flay me or tear off my arms, the flesh from my bones. And that's enough for me. If you have committed no sin, then why do they hunt you so fervently? I'm accused of being a witch. Master, please wake up. Return to me. Ah, have you come to, Master? I apologize for sending you through the door without warning. I must have given you quite the scare. But I beg your forgiveness. I heard a terrible screaming from down the stairs and I panicked. You say you saw the white-haired girl? I see. So you made it into the world beyond the door before me. I am deeply relieved that I was able to take your hand before losing sight of you. I presume you have already grown familiar with the atmosphere of this time period, Master. If you have seen her, as you said, then you should have a basic grasp of the situation. She was a very misfortunate girl in this era, accused of being a witch, abused and persecuted. Her life was in constant danger. It was, again, appearance that brought this upon her. That snow-white hair and those ruby-red eyes clearly differentiated her from everyone else. Oh, and I apologize. I neglected to mention that the door is unique. As for what sets it apart, that will be made clear as we proceed, though one difference is in the time period. The tales I have shown you began with that of the beautiful flaxen-haired family, followed by the tale of the bloodthirsty beast, and then the tale of steel and ambition. Proceeding is in chronological order. However, the door we have just entered takes us to the period now known as the Middle Ages, long before the other three tales. Yes, that is correct. This is where it all began. The mansion's curse, the truth of the witch, and your identity. All of this should be made known. If, after this tale, you are still unable to reclaim your old self, then there is nothing more I can do. This door contains the last tale I am able to tell you. So I ask of you, please do not let go of my hand until it is all over. Now then, let us begin a beautiful, tragic love story of two solitary souls trapped in a mansion of darkness. In that era, the mansion was a dungeon draped in darkness. After a great deal of time on the run, the white-haired girl found herself at a remote mansion that stood in a dark, overgrown forest. All the windows were either boarded or shuttered, and it was even darker inside the house than out. Not even a ray of moonlight could enter those walls. Only naturally, the white-haired girl was assumed that nobody lived there. But her guess was incorrect. Someone did, indeed, dwell in the house. It was a young man named Michel. Though she could not make out the details of his face in the candlelight, she thought him a very handsome man. However, he proclaimed to her that a witch resided within the mansion, and that he too was cursed. Everyone who got close to him lost their lives. Do you think that what he told her was all nonsense? A lie devised to chase her out of the house? The truth of the matter shall come to light in time. Despite Michelle's assertions, the white-haired girl decided she would take up residence within the mansion. I'm going to assume that it's pronounced Michelle, but I might be wrong. I apologise in advance. This era's white-haired girl was younger than the others. She was still in her early teens. What? Oh. Young enough to be seen as still a child. But she was neither as self-centered nor irresponsible as you might expect of someone her age. She was very delicate and reserved, and acted with a great deal of modesty and restraint. The accusations of her being a criminal and a sinner were grossly inappropriate. Nevertheless, she was still chased from her home, barely managing to flee to this mansion with her life. Now, the white-haired girl thought it would be rude to simply take up space in the mansion, so she chased down the master, Michelle, and asked, is there anything I can do to help? I will clean or cook or do anything. Just let me know. I want to repay you for allowing me to stay here. You need not feel indebted to me. The weight of that obligation will only turn into disdain. But I can't just stay here and do nothing. Do whatever you like, as long as you do not enter my room. That is all I ask of you. He said emotionlessly, turning away and walking off. Michelle was not, I believe, spurning her. He was merely disinterested. He did not treat her disrespectfully, nor did he seem averse to her presence. Words simply did not seem to affect him at all. Not only was the mansion a prison for his body was also a prison ensnaring his heart. I should still do whatever I can. But she did not let that get her down. In fact, she might have even interpreted his disinterest as kindness. Though he was a bit standoffish, he did not attempt to cause her harm. He was nothing like the people who had accused her of being a witch and forced her to flee for her life, and she was deeply grateful for that. Thus began their quiet life together, Michelle, who avoided contact with others, and the white-haired girl, who had taken a great deal of abuse from others. Two people who knew hardly anything about one another, were too distant to really be said to be living together. Michelle spent most of his day in his chambers, so they only ever saw each other occasionally, and they hardly ever spoke. Though they stayed in the same house, they both still lived solitary lives. Nonetheless, the white-haired girl wanted to get to know Michelle better. She wanted to know why he called himself cursed, why he lived alone in this dark mansion, how many days, how many years he had spent here in solitude. And while she waited for the opportunity, she also started doing things around the house. The first project she set out to take care of was cleaning. As the windows were all firmly shut, her only source of light was candles. For whatever reason, there was a great deal of candles stored in the cellar. She wondered where on earth he had acquired so many, but she never found the opportunity to ask him. Why does he have so many candles? It was difficult to even see all the dust and cobwebs with only candlelight, and considering the poor airflow through the house, she was afraid her efforts were going to be in vain. Still, she persisted, sweeping and wiping things down, one room at a time. Eventually, she made her way to the library. The dust that had settled there was much heavier than any other room. With each breath, she had to fight back coughs. It was not a room one would normally be comfortable spending much time in, but the sight of so many bulky volumes lining the shelves sent her heart aflutter with delight. They're books. Incredible. Real books. The white-haired girl had never seen a book before. She had heard people describe them, but that was the first time she had ever seen one for herself. Parchment was a very valuable commodity in that era. It was something monks or scholarly priests made use of, and not a material one could easily acquire without some degree of social rank. Books were not printed with machines, but copied by hand. A single volume took an incredible amount of work to create. Yeah, now that I think about that, the invention of the kind of printing, being able to print and copy books, was a massive thing. at the time. Man, imagine like handwriting every copy of a book. Oh. Even the process of binding was an art. Standing before a shelf, she stared intently at the spines. There's so much dust. Does he not read any of them? Just a peek, just a tiny little peek, she said, making excuses to the empty room as she reached her hand toward one of the books. The tome that caught her eye was on the upper shelf. It bore gorgeous jade embossing and looked like it belonged in a treasure chest. Almost. Though she tended to act older than her age, the white-haired girl was still in her early teens and not especially tall. Even standing tiptoe, it was still just barely within reach. At long last, her slender fingers made contact with the spine, and she began to put the book toward her. Ah! The library had sat abandoned for some time, causing the covers to stick together, so when she attempted to pull one out, several others tilted with it. And then, almost all the books on the shelf came avalanching down onto her. Ow! The white-haired girl groaned, buried under a mountain of parchment. She hoped she had not damaged any of her host's valuable collection, but the mess was enough of a setback already in her attempt to express her gratitude. Looking around, she saw one volume that was almost torn in half. She didn't know whether it was in that condition before, or if it had happened in the fall, but nonetheless, she felt horribly guilty. Sitting there, unable to get back to her feet, tears began welling in her eyes. Then suddenly, a shadow fell over the dejected girl. It took a book in its hand and it returned it to the shelf. For a brief moment, the shadow's hand reached hesitantly toward the white-haired girl, then changed course toward another book. Ah, it was Michel. There was a hint of perplexity in his otherwise emotionless eyes. Perhaps he had heard the noise and come to see what had caused it. I'm sorry, your books, What were you doing? I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to make a mess. I didn't mean to damage such precious books. There's no need to panic. I'm sorry. You make it sound as though I'm admonishing you. What? Did you want to read a book? I do, but that's not that I originally came here to clean. Clean? Yes, I feel guilty simply being idle. I did say you could do as you pleased, but you have no responsibility to clean anything. I just ended up making a bigger mess anyway. I'm so... You needn't apologize. Okay. If you want to read, help yourself to any of the books. But I don't know how to read. I just thought the cover was pretty, so I wanted to hold it. You're free to use them however you wish. If looking at them is enough for you, by all means. These are all your books, aren't they? They are. That's incredible. You have so many. It must have taken you a long time to acquire them all. 1 per month. What? My family sends me 1 every month. Wait, he has a family? I don't know why I assumed that he was just kind of on his own and had no family alive or anything. Every month? The white-haired girl turned her gaze back towards the shelves, squinting her eyes and beginning to count. When she finished, she was in awe. There were in excess of 100 books on the shelves, which meant he had lived there in solitude for many years. 100 books once a month? Wow. Yeah. Jeez, how old is he? She was at a loss for words. They're dull tomes, dreadfully inoffensive, and not even interesting enough to waste a few hours with. Decoration is all they're good for. I see. If you can put them to some use, then perhaps my having them won't be entirely meaningless anymore. I'm going to return to my room. Don't feel obligated to clean up. Just a minute. Was there something else? Could you tell me your name? I just realized I never asked for your name. Not knowing what to call you will make conversation awkward. You don't need my... I want to, though. Michelle. Michelle? Like... Wait, the Archangel... Is it Michelle? Michael? Like the Archangel? The name suits you quite well. It suits me? It does, although it's difficult to see you in the dark. You seem to be a very handsome man, befitting of your name. I beg to differ. Giving me his name is the highest form of mockery. I expect the real Archangel is probably rather annoyed by it. I don't know. I think it's a wonderful name. And you're... No. Never mind. Oh, my name? My name is... Giselle? Ooh. Why does this sound familiar? Giselle? This is the white-haired girl's name. Please call me Giselle. Oh, thank goodness. This name has been hidden from us throughout all the other stories. Even when it's like mentioned, they kind of like censored it for some reason. Giselle. For what? That I was able to get your name and talk to you for a little bit. We haven't seen much of each other since I first arrived, so I'm glad that I got to hear your voice. So very glad. You gain nothing by speaking to me. You have no responsibility to do so, and there is no need for you to feel joy about it. I'm not pleased out of some sense of responsibility or necessity. It's just depressing, not being able to have a conversation with someone living in the same house. You do not understand me at all. As I said on that first day, my curse will one day kill you. But I'm still alive, aren't I? You are welcome to believe I am lying, or that I'm merely out of my mind. But it will be too late when you realize the truth. I'll be fine, I'm sure. Well, and even if I do die because of your curse, I promise I won't hold a grudge. Could you possibly be keeping away from me out of concern? No, I simply have no interest in interacting with anyone. I would like to interact with you, if you don't mind, that is. As I told you, you have nothing to gain from that. I have nothing, not even words, to give you. My body is but a shell, even if I were not cursed. My presence would do naught but cause you discomfort. I don't think that's true. I don't believe there's anyone in this world with absolutely nothing. There's plenty inside you, you simply haven't noticed it yet. And not all of it will only cause others pain either. If you truly believe those words, then you are a foolhardy girl. How can you trust someone you only just met? For that matter, how do you not resent everyone? Resent them? I can take a guess as to why people call you a witch, and why you had to flee all the way to this mansion. Your white hair and red eyes, that abnormal, seemingly inhuman appearance drew their condemnation. And I can think of any number of reasons they may have started treating you less than human. Perhaps people around you experienced misfortune, or perhaps there was a natural disaster, a famine, a plague, some kind of external phenomena. And you were their scapegoat. Yes, you are by and large correct. Then what would make me as unworthy of your trust as anyone else? Then that would make me as unworthy of your trust as anyone else. Oof. I make no claim to having your interests in mind. Goodbye. If you don't mind, could you teach me how to read sometime? Did you listen to anything I said? I listened, yes. I have no intention of idolizing you. I don't expect you to do anything for me. I don't wish to burden you in any way, but you're asking him to teach you to read. I simply wish to be allowed to be at your side. It does not matter to me what kind of person you may be. That is all I want. I apologize for keeping you. Please, consider it, if it's not too much trouble. As the master of the house, Michel, made his way out of the library, he appeared to be slightly rattled. Perhaps the white-haired girl's determination had ignited something in his chained heart. Or perhaps it was something else. She stared toward the darkness into which Michel had disappeared. Then, she carefully wrapped her arms around the jade-embossed tomb, a soft smile spreading across her lips. Wait. He's a decent man, I'm sure of it. We're alike, he and I. And thus began to blossom within her a faint sense of fellowship as someone who also knew solitude. Dun dun dun. And I think I will leave it here. Let me just save the game. Save it on this one. Yes. Switch to square. Well, that was interesting. Talking to the painting gave us some interesting tidbits of information. And the little kind of memory flashback we saw in the bedroom must have had something to do with the story with Michel and Giselle, the white-haired girl's name, finally exposed to us. And this is supposed to be a story about us, the main character. So, are we Michel? I'm assuming? Or are we someone else in the story, perhaps? And how is the maid involved in all of this? Intriguing stuff. But I'm going to leave it there for now. This was The House in Fata Morgana. I'm Ashmanix, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.